So here's how it's about the end of days, about how people don't seem to realize that it is about prophecy. Here's a Jewish rabbi spelling it out perfectly.
It's the end of days. You're going to need the iron of Esav, which represents Edom, which is the West, Europe, and the Americas, to get intermixed with Ishmael, which is basically Arabs and Muslims. How in the world was this ever going to happen if not for this refugee crisis? At the end of days, you're going to have this intermixing between Esav, Edom, which is the West, and the East, which is the Muslims and the Arabs, making this through this influx into the world. And they're going to have children, you know, I don't want to say by the dozens, but they're going to have a far larger birth rate than the indigenous people there.
Look at him spell it out. We are going to have so many wars in the Middle East that the Muslims and the Arabs, they are going to spread within the Western world that's predominantly Christian. And this is going to be done for wars for the Jewish supremacists of Israel. Then the Christians are going to be upset that they're being replaced, and they're going to blame the Muslims, but they're not going to blame the people that are responsible for the displacement, that are responsible for the birth rate declining. The birth rate declining from the white Christian world, two major reasons. One, the spread of feminism. The men are weak. They're having more dogs in the household than they're having children. Fact. Two, Muslims are more religious, and so they're having more children. They value the family, they value the household more than the modern day white Christian. You can get angry about that, but that's the truth. Why do you think the average Muslim household in the UK, they're having 2.8 kids compared to 0.8 kids for a white Christian family? That's what's going on. But they're using this to pin the Christians and the Muslims against each other. The white Christians, they hate immigration. The Muslims, obviously they're upset about them getting it wrong. They're upset about the oppression. Guess who wins? Well, the Goyim fight.
And they're going to sort of conquer by number. And there are many different sources for this. One of them in Yehezkel, chapter 14.
I don't support war. I don't understand if the Iranians could have overthrown their government.
You don't understand if the Iranians could have overthrown their government? The majority of Iranians did not want to overthrow their government. So you guys saw protests a month ago, and then Mike Pompeo, the former CIA director during Trump's first term, he said that these protests were pushed by CIA and Mossad. The firebombs and the masjids, that was probably planted by intelligence agencies to instill outrage. They were doing this strategically to start war. Iran, you know, they did overthrow the government. You know when? They overthrew the UK-US coup d'etat. There was a coup d'etat that the UK-US staged, and then they enacted the Shah. They did this because Iran wanted to get the oil money that the UK was stealing from Iran. They found a bunch of oil in Iran, and Iranians were like, wait, we're only getting 16% of the oil? Or 60% of the profits from the oil? We want to get 50%. The UK's like, oh, you want to negotiate? We are going to change your government. We're going to ruin you. They teamed up with the US, and they instilled the Shah. The Shah was a monarchy. There were several. It was this line. It was his son and then his grandson. The Iranians overthrew this eventually. They did not like this police state. They did not like this monarchy. They did not like how Western and liberalized it was becoming. Then you had the Islamic Republic. You had Khomeini. The person who succeeded Khomeini was Khamenei. Khamenei was the one that was just assassinated a few days ago. He was in charge for a very long time, for several decades. So the Iranian people did overthrow their government, but not the one today. They overthrew the UK government, the Western government.
Sources as far as this is concerned, where it's mentioned very, very vividly what will happen to the Jews and what will happen to Jerusalem and what will happen to the world at that time, where there will be many, many people killed and so on and so forth. So the idea of having these refugees come into Europe, it's no longer a matter of whether it's right or wrong. It's just simply fulfillment of what it was meant to be all along.
It's not a matter of right or wrong. This is a fulfillment of prophecy. This is coming from a Jewish rabbi. This is what it was about. This is the plan. This is the intention.
Fulfillment of the Chazal and the prophecies. This has to happen, and this is just another sign that we are nearing, the completion of this tikkun of the entire world.
This is a sign of the end times. The Christians and the Muslims will fight each other until eventually they realize what's going on. They realize that we both believe that Jesus will return and Jesus is the Messiah, and the energy is directed elsewhere. And there's a different holy war going on. Right now we're seeing the Christian-Muslim war.
Mashiach viendra que quand Édom, l'Europe, la chrétienté sera totalement tombée. Donc je vous pose la question, c'est une bonne nouvelle que l'islam envahisse l'Europe? C'est une excellente nouvelle, ça annonce la venue de Mashiach. Excellente nouvelle.
It's excellent that we have wars that displace Muslims so that they destroy European civilization. From a Jewish rabbi, Europe needs to be destroyed for the coming of the Antichrist.
Vous allez le payer très cher, les Européens. Mais à un point, vous n'avez même pas notion de quoi on parle. Et vous n'aurez pas au fil.
Il n'y a pas une question. Je déteste beaucoup les personnes blancs. J'aime beaucoup les musulmans qui tuaient les blancs. Je suis juif. Je suis juif. Allez les bleus.
Parce que tout le mal que vous avez fait à Israël, vous le paierez au centuple. Quand l'Italie disparaîtra, quand Édom, c'est pour ça que le QG de la chrétienté qui vient de Esav se trouve là-bas, quand cet endroit-là disparaîtra, et c'est ce que veut faire l'islam, il s'occupe. L'islam, c'est le balai d'Israël, sachez-le.
And we are saying, yes, we will love our neighbor. Last week, Highest organized a letter signed by over 1,200 rabbis. Can you imagine getting 1,200 rabbis to agree on one thing? But agree they did. And what they agreed was to ask our elected officials not to halt or even to limit.
Why you see so many liberalized white people is through the propaganda from the same people. So they understand, this is what, from the rabbis, they understand that Muslims are harder to corrupt. Right? Their faith right now is stronger, but the Western white people, they're easy to corrupt, so you could push the isms on them, liberalism, feminism, and you could take them away from their core identity a lot. It's so much easier. So you get them to believe in their propaganda, and then you get them to believe that Muslims are the enemy.